Hi everyone, this is Cherry Enchantress, and this is your daily dust for Sunday, September 3rd, if you're watching in real time, but it can also be for whenever you stumble upon it. It's also a timeless reading. I chose the Tarot Familiars today, because my little black kitty cat familiar picked it out for me. She told me, I like this one. All right. So I edged it in green to kind of go with the backing a little. Let's give it a good shuffle. They're gonna tear down the door. My kitties, they're like, don't close the door on us. All right, I'm gonna choose from the top. We have the Hierophant and the King of Wands and Justice. Hierophant, Taurus, anyone? All right, let's zoom on in. So we have two major arcana and one King of Wands kind of wedged in between. So you could be this King of Wands connecting to these higher energies of Hierophant and Justice coming to your aid. The Hierophant represents conformity and orthodoxy, and so it could be all about some kind of ceremonial thing that's happening today, just something traditional, or it could be just just something you just do every day. It could be something about humility and kindness, and maybe getting some kind of inspiration today. Also having alliances of a sort that feels very tight and united. Also, it's a type of servitude, like helping energy. And it can represent a little bit of shyness or being very reserved, being kind of within yourself a little bit. But also it represents somebody who has a high resources and really good at rituals. And this represents, of course, the priest and also the student teacher energy. So some of you could be students and some of you could be teachers, and sometimes you put a little bit of both. Sometimes when you are a teacher, you end up learning a lot from people you're teaching, and sometimes when you're a student, you seem to fall into a position where you're teaching something, where you're sharing your knowledge. Even though you may be a novice at it, you find yourself being put in that position. Maybe you're the top of your class or something like that, or you learned something and now the teacher wants you to demonstrate what you've learned. So this could apply to people of any ages in any arena. It could be something like a traditional institution school, or it could be some kind of small thing like tutorial that you're working at, something that you've learned in tutorials. You maybe can now teach it now that you've done it long enough and you've learned it from one person. Now you feel like maybe you're ready to show what you've learned. Maybe like me, you've been somebody interested in the tarot a long time, and now you feel like now you can teach it, or you can do it, or you can show it. It's like the student becomes the master. And so justice is all about a proper balance. It's harmony, equality, and equity, and virtue and honor, and just rewards and good intentions and good actions, well-meaning actions, good advice. It's self-satisfaction. And so you could be in a situation now where you feel like you have the key. Oh, this is the key to Pandora's box. Do you open it or not? Do you decide to open this? It's interesting because knowledge in one sense was considered something not so good when you're looking at the Bible, for instance, and the Adam and Eve story, the fruit of knowledge. Once they partake partook of the fruit of knowledge, then everything opened up to them. They lost their innocence, basically. They lost their ignorance. And some of us believe, well, the saying ignorance is bliss. There's a certain truth to that, right? Ignorance is bliss, but knowledge is power. And it's up to you what you want in this moment. Do you want to have knowledge for your own abilities to progress, to grow, to improve? Or do you want to just stay in a nice lull where there isn't much growth because it feels sort of more comfortable and it's more cozy, I guess. It's easier to just not use the knowledge that you have, or share the knowledge that you have, or teach the knowledge that you have. So it's an interesting concept for me too. I think of I have the teacher in my family. My mom's a teacher, and that teacher energy has been in our family for a while now. I was a bus driver. That was not really being a teacher, but it was dealing with children, and I love children. But I've often thought, I don't know if I really want to teach. I don't know if I know that I can teach. I just don't know if I want to teach. And so this may be just the universe saying, this is something that you might need to do anyway, whether you want to do it or not, as a way to express and expand yourself. And then you may find, as you're expressing and expanding yourself, that you actually liked it, that you're tapping into something that you didn't realize that you were going to like, almost as if you put some kind of bias towards it before you gave it a chance, So consider teaching. The King of Wands represents a person who's honest and conscientious and friendly and educated and fatherly. The king representing usually the masculine, but not necessarily. And fatherly doesn't necessarily mean woman either. It could be that a female here is put into more of the father position, the breadwinner and all those traditional father energies. But it also just feels to me like the King of Wands, it could be somebody you're connecting with if it's not you, but it could also represent somebody who's just very passionate, who's ready to go for it, that has a strong desire to try something new. It feels a little like, well, we have the fire signs Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, so it feels a little impulsive like an Aries, or showmanship like a Leo, or a philosopher and a clown like Sagittarius. There's all kinds of ways that you can demonstrate your knowledge. You can demonstrate your knowledge through theater or your creativity, or many ways, So this is something that I feel like you're maybe being drawn to. And look, the kitty cat is laying on books, so it does feel like knowledge is coming. Also feels like maybe spell work too, possible. The use of candles in your spells and how they work. So maybe look that up, because candles represents the fire energy, right? And the 4 elements are very strong in Wicca and in rituals and ceremonies. Any ceremony, even of course religious and Catholic ceremonies and Christian ceremonies, you see candles all the time, right? So kind of dive into what the candle means. But if you're doing spell work, candles of different colors signify different things. You can write on a candle, like write a word or something. You can make a package of some paper and burn it. I did this one really cool candle ritual that came in the Goddess Provisions, and it came with a piece of paper, and you wrote on it, and then you roll it into a tube, and then you light it, and then it flew up like a bird. And that was an interesting way of releasing these energies. So look up candle rituals, and it was something that I felt last night as I was doing my live, and thank you all who came out to my live last night. That and do come out if you want. Sometimes I give away free readings, and generally it's just a donation, but you can donate as little as $5. Super easy, and really nice readings for low cost and no cost. It's like it's not mandatory, but I do have a lot of generous people out there that do come out, so I appreciate you so much. But what I was going to say is that it feels like since this blue moon energy came around and we really dived deep into ritual and spell work and incantations and things like that, that it's something that Spirit would like us to keep up during this season. It's a form of protection, it's a form of intention, it's a form of magic work, it's magician work, so using the tools at hand to create your magic, to manifest what you desire. So maybe it's something that you have to do a little more frequently than just on a blue moon, like once in a blue moon. Maybe it's something now that you should do a few times a week, maybe, or every Saturday or something like that. So I feel like with justice has got the key here, and this is like the key to success for you. Okay, so, and it doesn't have to be witchy. All it has to be is just a positive mindset and a few moments of peace and breathing and focusing and visualizing on your day, and that will be enough. That will be sufficient. But candles that you bring into this could be very helpful too, as a nice focal point and nice way to set a mood as well. All right, so we do have a lot of water rituals, bath rituals, but I think right now fire is being highlighted. So I hope you like that, and I'll see you tomorrow. Faith, Trust, and Pixie Dust. Oh yes, am I doing my messages from your person later on today? So stay tuned for that. Faith, Trust, and Pixie Dust.